Thank you. There was this echo that I cannot be sure like what exactly I heard. But first of all, hello Mumbai, and I was supposed to be physically there, but then for some logistic reason I cannot make it there, and we have to do this remotely. I apologize for that first. So today I'm going to share our Taiwan experience at Hero. I'm going to firstly talk about what is Chemsex and why we should care about this. Secondly, I'm going to talk about our integrated health service HERO, Healing, Empowerment, Recovery of Chemsex. So chemsex refers to using certain substances before and during sex session for MSM, and specifically we're talking about crystal meth, methadone, GHB, GBL, and also sometimes including ecstasy and ketamine. So this term was cast in UK, but then there is a long history in the United States that been discussing this syndemic health problems in MSM population. And here I'm going to use this term because I think in a way it is a new thing. I mean, even though there's a long discussion for sexualized drug use, but in a way, I think with the rise of dating apps, access to crystal meth right now is very easy for, if you open your dating apps, then you're gonna access to crystal meth easily. So this is why I think it is important to introduce kind of a new term in this setting. Different from generic recreational drug use, MSM use these drugs to connect with others. And this is why chemsex is unique. You won't hear heroin users or cocaine users telling you that they use heroin or cocaine to connect with others. But here in our population, we do use it to connect with others, to increase sexual confidence. And people report better sex because these drugs reduce inhibition and increase pleasure. They help to build instant rapport with your sexual partners. And people also report using these drugs to manage negative feelings, such as lack of self-esteem and stigma. When you think of chemsex, a lot of time we think of parties, like sex parties or private homes. But right now we're seeing more users using it in a stable relationship. So if your partner being engaging in chemsex, then you might be doing chemsex just because you're in this relationship. And why should we worry about chemsex? A lot of chemsex individuals are more likely to engage in HIV transmission risk behaviors. And there's also this problem of drug dependence. So methadone and crystal meth can create a powerful psychological dependence. And GHB, GBL create dangerous physiological dependence, such as overdose. And for crystal meth users, a lot of them will report losing days. So they are not sleeping or eating up to a few days. And when they are finally back to work or back to wherever they are not sure where those days have been to. And you can probably imagine that you're gonna see a lot of non-consensual sex in this kind of setting, but it's hard to, I'm sure it's underreported, but you can probably imagine this, it's very likely to have sexual assault events in chemsex situations. And there are already some existing data on chemsex among MSM in Asia Pacific region. Here I did not include India because I think the rest of the speakers in this session will cover that. But for the rest of Asia region, it ranges around 5 to 30% depending on sampling methods. And you might wonder what the prevalence is like in Taiwan. So my collaborators and I conducted a survey using a major gay dating app, Hornet, to do this. And we asked if you have used methadone, ecstasy, GHB, GBL, ketamine, or crystal meth during sex with men within the past 3 months. And you can see that in Taipei, this is a capital city, it's as high as 12.6%. And on average, it's about 9.3%, but it's much higher among the HIV positive individuals. It can go as high as 30%. and for negative ones are 7%. I think there's a common myth that people think that almost all chemsex users, people who engage chemsex are HIV positive, but in our case, it's actually not. So we further conducted another online survey that looked at chemsex individuals only. So this sample is only chemsex MSM. And this picture shows you a very different demographics from the stereotypical drug-using community. I mean, when you think of heroin users or cocaine users, you probably think of people who are poor, cannot hold a job. As you can see here, our population are highly educated, and most of them have full-time jobs, and they have high income. So for a lot of chemsex individuals, they don't consider themselves as drug users because they're very different from the stereotypical drug users. However, how serious is this their drug dependency? If they don't consider themselves as drug users, but they've actually been using meth, then how serious it is? And as you can see here from this self-reported measurement severity of dependence scale, actually 43%, so almost half of them are considered pretty moderate or severe. So we are seeing a rise of chemsex. We're seeing emojis on social media to symbolize chemsex. So because of this rise, we feel like the existing healthcare model that tackles substance abuse, sexual health, and HIV prevention separately, independently, is no longer desirable. That's why we're proposing a model of integrated health service. So this is the model we propose. We propose this a one-stop shop. We want to focus on STD screening and PrEP counseling and substance use and evaluation altogether. We also stress the importance of recovery and empowerment. And this is why HERO was established at the end of 2017, and we are largely inspired by the 56 Dean Street model in UK, in London. And this is what we look like physically. We're located within a hospital, but we are kind of like a separate department. We're using some of the resources in the hospital, but we are our own thing here in southern Taiwan. We're currently developing an electronic health record system for HERO. It will contain patient portal and also the healthcare provider portal. One unique feature for this center is a collaboration among several partners. So the idea starts from a large LGBT health center that has been serving the community in southern Taiwan for more than 10 years. But the idea to address chemsex using an integrated healthcare system is kind of new. And we have involved the community, the NGO, and the technology company, and the research team since the very beginning. So in this talk, we're gonna focus on chemsex-related service we provided at HERO. But knowing that we not only provide those chemsex-related service, there's also PrEP and there's also STI treatment, infectious disease, and so on. But here are the three major things we do that is specifically for chemsex: the psychiatric referral and treatment within HERO, and chemsex recovery group, and counseling using chemsex care plan. So as I mentioned before, we are largely inspired by David Stewart's 56 Dean Street model. So we also use this chemsex care plan that they developed. So many of you guys that know that they have this website and the flow for chemsex care plan. I'm not going to go into detail for this plan, but the main idea is that you set your own goal. So it's a motivational interviewing kind of mindset. And if you want to get help, we help you to create a plan. But if you don't want to get help now, that's totally fine. So this is a process we run through with everyone. So we use this for all chemsex recovery group members, and we conduct this plan using Google Form right now. Every time they come in, we run through this plan. In this process, very often people will realize that they are not as competent as they originally thought they were in terms of recovery goal setting. So HERO has collaboration with our research team since the beginning. We try to keep a record for every client, including asking them to fill out some survey questions, And we also recorded their administrative data. And all study procedures were approved by IRB at NCKU, and we also get their consent. We are not only interested in the individual level factors, but also the clinic as a whole. So we listed some change objectives and summarized these changes. Hopefully, give it time, this service can help to improve people's quality of life by decreasing chemsex behavior, increasing HIV and STD screening and treatment, and increase uptake of PrEP. In the survey that they fill out every time they come in, we put these 2 questions in for chemsex care from chemsex care plan. So we asked them, like, what percentage of my sex life involves chems, such as crystal meth, ecstasy, ketamine, and GHB, GBL. And then we also asked them, but then that was the reality, but then what do you expect it to be? So ideally, how much the percentage of your sex life that involves chems to be? And then we do some math, and we realize that there are still 70% of people that wants to get better, but there are still about 28% of people that want to stay the same or use more. So this is the types of the, if you look at all the chemsex individuals in HERO so far, so the sample size is 115. So whoever that answers more than 0% on this one question, it will be considered my sample here in this talk. So we see that almost half of them use crystal meth, so it's like 44%, and also Viagra 45%, and 36% use Rush, and then GHB, GBL in Taiwan at least is not common in other drug using community or any other community, but in our community it is as high as 19%. In this graph, we can see the choice of drug by age group. And for methamphetamine, so this blue line here, it is popular in the 24-year-old or younger group. You can notice that all the samples in HERO are relatively young, so even like more than 35 years old is considered the older group. But what's really concerning us is that we're dealing with a relatively young community that are engaged in chemsex. So the challenge will be, how do we gain the trust from this younger population? How do we increase their motivation to quit or use it safely? And also there's this problem with poly drug use. People usually use more than one drug. For sexual health, half of the chemsex individuals do not have STI, 29% are HIV positive, and we also have very high syphilis, and 26%, but this is more because of the screening for syphilis is free in Taiwan, so a lot of people get screened. For mental health, we use GAD-7 for anxiety and PHQ-9 for depression, and it's about a quarter of them have moderate or severe depression and anxiety, so it's actually pretty high. So here we can see the HERO data is very similar to the online survey I mentioned previously, that we want to know among all the chemsex users, what's the percentage of them that we should really be worried about, that probably should need to get help. And it's also about 50% is using another scale. Next, I'm going to talk a bit about the chemsex recovery group. So this is our physical environment. We have been holding recovery groups for 2 years now. It was about once per month at the beginning, but because it's getting really good reviews, we now increased to twice per month since 2019. Among all the chemsex individuals, so it's 115 at HERO, almost a third of them are HIV positive and 70% of them are HIV negative. And for positive individuals, the participation of chemsex recovery group is much better than the negative individuals. So we have 27% of HIV positive individuals in our recovery group, and about 12% of HIV negative chemsex individuals joining our recovery group. And this is another number that I want to put focus on, that is if it's okay, you don't come to our recovery group, but we really hope that as a HIV negative and chemsex individuals, you should probably, I mean, it's probably better to use PrEP. But right now it's only 20%. So I think there's room for improvement. So we have been, so this graph is showing like how well we are doing, but then also the result of our group. So we stratified by how many times you've been to come to our group. And then you can see that about 13 individuals have come here more than 5 times, and then some people come fewer times. But so we originally hoped that we can see a decrease for chemsex in this group that keep coming back, but then it's actually kind of the opposite. So in this on the left panel, for people who only been here fewer times, it seems like there's some decreasing chemsex here, but then on the people who keep coming back, it's going up and down. So we actually went back to do the interview. We went back to the group and asked them what they think of this group, think of this graph. And then some feedback we got are like, they feel like participants might be more likely to tell the truth if they are more engaged. So meaning that if they only come here for once or twice, they're probably not telling the truth. And also some people might decide to quit the group if they relapse. But then we also hear people that they come back to the group once they relapse or once they know they're about to relapse. They feel that this group is helpful and they feel supported by their counselor and the peer. They trust the group. But with the group, we think that this is still a learning process. For many therapists trained in Taiwan, chemsex is new. They are used to talk about drugs. They are used to talk about triggers and recovery, but they are not used to talk about this substance use problems in a sex setting. So I think this is new for them. And we're also still experimenting. So for each therapist, they run groups for 4 months continuously, and then we kind of change because we're still looking for the best match. You know, we don't want people to lose interest. I think it happens to many psychiatric substance use recovery groups that you're gonna see group members, they share drugs or they do drugs together. But in our group, we do have some situation that people ask each other out for chemsex. And what we do here is we set rules for them to, you know, do not ask your group members to chemsex. And then we also provide peer support group since April 2019. And right now we have 10 to 15 participants. There's no therapist involved, and we chose the peer mentors, but it's also still experimenting. We got this question a lot, like how do we find MSM that might be engaging in chemsex? So we are very lucky that we have many clients that just self-identify and told us that they engage in chemsex. Some would tell us during HIV tests, and some came directly asking for our recovery group, and some would tell us after several visits. And the reason being, I think, our physical environment, first of all. Many people have learned about our specialty before they visited. And we also have signs and posters and, you know, here and there, like small signs here and there on the counter, on the wall. And our staff are friendly, that we hear this a lot, that our clients often told us that they feel safe telling us about chemsex. They think our staff get it. But then other than that, we also actively mention and ask them about chemsex. We actively tell them about our chemsex intervention service. And at the end of the survey that they fill out every time they come in, they get a direct feedback for their chemsex and depression and anxiety score. And there are some specific questions we will ask, but I think it looks really generic. It's like, you look a bit tired. Are you okay? Have you been sleeping well? And I think for many people who've been working with chemsex individuals, that you can kind of tell, especially for people who've been using crystal meth for a long time. So in conclusion, we feel like the integrated health service for chemsex are necessary and in high demand. And then many services we provide for chemsex, such as counseling using chemsex care plan, psychiatric referral and treatment, and chemsex recovery group, are continually being evaluated using survey and administrative data. And we feel like the one sign that is telling us that we're doing well is the high compliance, and then people keep coming back or people stay in the group. So that's what we've been showing the result to other people. But then we also feel like all these Chemsex services complement each other, that you don't have to use all our service. You just take whatever you need. And the development of the electronic health record system will hopefully improve our service provision, and more importantly, to help clients to better manage their sexual and mental health. Thank you.